How's it going, guys? Today I'm going to talk a little bit about how to properly break in your leather inner waistband holster. I will also say a couple words on the small snub nose style, about the 2-inch range J-frame revolvers. What I thought when I was picking out mine, and what I thought to stray away from. So here you can see I got the Ruger SP101. I just brought it home today. I also grabbed a Triple K inner waistband concealment holster. Big fan of the Triple K holsters themselves. Very, very comfortable, and they are built to last. They also hold your firearm of choice in place really, really well. I carry one every day with my Glock 26, and I decided to pick up one for my SP101. So here it is. You can see, safety checked, free and clear. And here is the holster. Yep, you've seen this before. So to properly stretch fit your leather holster, there's one thing that is kind of key, and that is number one, protecting your firearm while it is incredibly tight. We are going to be doing that with bags. You can use saran wrap, but I choose to use these Walmart bags, which I have plenty of them around, and I'm sure you probably do too. They just seem to build up. So I like to use these because they're actually a little bit stronger than saran wrap. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hide this beautiful shiny gun in ugly Walmart trash bags. So this will protect your gun, and in the process of stretching it. So I just insert it all the way to the bottom corner like so, and then I continue to do this one by one with my preferred thickness is 3 bags. Sometimes I will use 4 if I want the gun to slip out of the holster a little bit easier. It doesn't really make that much of a difference. 3 to 4 is a good range. There is 3, and I can kind of tell by how more difficult it is to insert into the holster once I put these on. Tell if I want a little bit more thickness to it or not, depending if it's incredibly tight. It's going to be pretty tight once you put this plastic bag on there. So the next step is going to be actually inserting it into your holster. Now you really are going to have to push in most cases, and make sure it's seated all the way into that holster. So now I feel like it's pushed all the way in there. The next step, you can kind of, based on your situation, decide how you're going to apply heat. Now what you can do is set it in a window, which obviously don't choose a public window at an apartment complex where your gun's just going to be sitting there in the sun, but use your your best judgment. In a window, don't put it on your oven, but another good source of heat is a heat pad. Now you can get an electric heat pad. If you have one, it's awesome. Here is one right here. So what you do is simply, well, one step I did forget is that I like to cut the remaining plastic off, the plastic bag there. So I just grab it, take a knife, and slice right through. Just gets kind of annoying to have all that bunched up plastic there. So now I have it here, and you simply wrap it in your heat pad, if you can, and turn on the heat. Now, here we are. Depending on your heat pad, if you've had it for a while, you'll know how warm each setting gets. Some of these can be incredibly high strength, and I mean really hot, so you don't want to turn it up too far. Start at your first notch or your first power setting, and then let it warm up for about 10 minutes, and then feel it, see if it feels pretty good. You don't want it scalding, you don't want it incredibly hot where it's going to actually affect the integrity of the leather, which is, it'd be pretty surprising if it did that. But you don't want to almost shock the leather. You just want to warm it up nicely so that it can stretch around the gun and the extra thickness of plastic that you added to it. So leave it on there for about 45 minutes to an hour, and that's usually pretty good. It gets the leather nice and soft. And then what you're going to want to do is, gently, not abruptly, move around your firearm within the holster. So you want to kind of tweak it, basically stretching it back and forth, twisting the firearm in the holster slightly. This is, something you do after it starts to soften up. It's pretty hard to do it in the holster when it's cold. It is very, very tight, and you will know this. Alright, so after you have warmed up your holster, and you've done the shimming of the pistol in the holster, you're going to let your setup here sit as it is overnight. It's good to let it sit for, about 24 hours is usually what I let them go for. It really helps the leather to cool down and keep the stretched shape that it has right now. This plastic, it adds thickness so that once you remove the pistol, remove the plastic, and insert the pistol on its own, it has just that very, very minute space that it's able to slip in and out. The holster will, tighten back up on the pistol itself really tight, but it has just a little bit more wiggle room to insert and remove flawlessly. So go ahead and set this in a drawer or in your safe and let it sit overnight. 24 hours is good before you try to start wearing it. But then most of the finishing breaking in really will happen when you are wearing it. So back on the topic of picking this specific pistol out, I look at a bunch of different areas of the revolvers. So when you're looking at the different models, the three that I was really looking at was the Taurus 605, which is the cheapest of the line that I actually was considering. I didn't want to go all the way down to like a Rossi, which is actually pretty much the same as a Taurus. But so this Taurus 605, I looked at that, and honestly, the particular model that I was looking at looked like it had been used for a couple years. I mean, it was all crapped up, gunk all over. The finish looked like crap. I looked at it and actually laughed, and I was like, there's no way I would ever consider this firearm. So I went on to the Smith & Wesson, and I actually wasn't too impressed by that either. There was a big notch out of the front sight, which is a fixed front sight in the Smith & Wesson, and it was the ultralight model, so it's aluminum framed. Wasn't very happy about it. Still felt like a little Chinese toy. And then I finally picked up this bad boy here, which, there you go, it's empty. Incredibly substantial. You can just feel the quality in this Ruger. It is solid. It is machined perfectly. There are no big gouges out of the machining. During the machining process, it's a very delicate process, and if you have someone who doesn't know what they're doing, or they're getting paid $10 an hour over in China, and they just don't give a crap. So the quality of the manufacturing is huge. This looks very flawless. And the other thing is that the cylinder even spins so much more smoothly. In the others, it just, it spun a couple times and stopped. This just wants to keep going. And the lockup is tight. The trigger feels not, gritty. So the front sight on the Ruger SP101 is actually removable, and you can put a night sight on there if you want. I probably won't. I'm happy with this as it is. I always have a flashlight near me if it's inside, and if it's pitch black, a night sighting isn't really going to do that much. That's just my take on it. Not a big fan of them. Okay, so the rubber grip on this is pretty nice. It feels good in your hand. It has a nice little thumb wield right here. But I actually probably will be changing mine over to like the Hogue finger grooved ergonomic grip. When you're shooting the 357 out of these little 2 1/4 inch barrels, it's nice to have those grooves there. It just keeps it a little bit more controlled. It feels better and tighter in your hand. But there's no complaints here as it sits. But I probably will be changing that over, like I said. Alright guys, well, thank you for watching this segment on my Triple K holster, Ruger SP101, and holster break-in tactics. If you'd feel like liking this video and commenting and or sharing and maybe even subscribing, do so, please. It's nice to know what everyone thinks. Have a good day.